anxiety, distress, that's the way that I get things done. From now to depression, gonna sleep too long, and I hang around like a bomb. I think I'm going nowhere, and that makes me nervous. Everybody's at the game, but I feel alright. Everybody's at the game, but I feel alright. Everybody's at the game, but I feel alright. Everybody's thinking about me, but I feel alright. Everybody's at the game, but I feel alright.
Because Mississippi is a bloody petri dish, your old friend Jim Sterling has been out of commission for the past few days, so your regularly scheduled Jimquisition is going to be late. However, I am Jim fucking Sterling's son, and I haven't missed a Monday yet. So, to tide you over, we're here with another remastered edition of a classic pre-Jim Dependence Jimquisition episode. It's another one that goes in tandem with the last one we did, The Perfect Pasta Sauce, and very much like that one, is based on some talks given by Malcolm Gladwell. I hope you enjoy. Despite the fact that subject matter is several years old, it is still sadly relevant today, as is a lot of stuff I said years ago, because it's the goddamn game industry. Enjoy! A focus group is a small-scale case study used in many industries, and the video game industry in particular has never been shy about using it. It's the reason why grizzled men with guns are on the covers of games because, as Ken Levine puts it, that's the scientific method of appealing to frat boys. It's why Don't Nod Entertainment had such trouble getting a game with a female protagonist made, because focus groups say playing as a girly girl is gay and full of cooties. It's why so many games lately pile in co-op, competitive online, cover systems, assault rifles and brown colour schemes. It's why Resident Evil 6 was a soulless mess. The drive to make games appeal to everybody by asking focus groups what they like is the reason why games come out lacking sincerity, energy and passion. Because how can you have a game made with genuine passion when you're cynically creating them to appeal to a checklist of stated desires? How can you put your all into a project when it's not being made for you, but for a room full of 12-year-old strangers? I think we gamers can tell the difference between a game made with love and care and a game made to just sell copies. Hell, say what you will about Call of Duty, but Infinity Ward and Treyarch genuinely give a shit about what they're doing. Even if you think they make crap, their story campaigns in particular demonstrate that shit comes from the heart, and their developers doing what they want with vigour and passion. By contrast, Medal of Honor Warfighter is a cynical and coldly calculated game, going down a checklist with all the enthusiasm of a dead dog being poked with a stick. We can tell when games are being made with spontaneity and vision, and we can tell when a game is being made to order. The problems with focus groups are well known and long established. To return to Malcolm Gladwell, who I used in my pasta sauce episode, his knowledge of marketing and research reveals that focus groups, polled consumers, they know what they want, but they don't say what they want. Coffee is his famous example. Focus-tested coffee buyers say they want a rich dark roast when asked what coffee they drink. Listening just to focus groups, consumers want a rich dark roast. However, when buying habits are observed, it's found instead the average consumer buys a weaker, milkier coffee because that's what they actually wanted. It's the kind of coffee I drink. I'm drinking it right now, some heavily creamed, inoffensive, mediocre shite. But am I going to tell all my coffee friends down the coffee club that I drink that? Of course not. I'll say I drink a rich, dark roast, because that makes me sound refined and distinguished. This is called social desirability bias, a phenomenon whereby people answer questions not according to their tastes, but according to how favourably their answers will be to everybody else. SDB is heavily evident in focus groups, and I think it's obvious we're seeing it in games. Just like how we say a rich dark roast because the coffee industry makes it sound special and wonderful, so too will a focus group be inclined to say they want cover and co-op, because the most heavily marketed games already have that. The industry tells us it's in vogue, and the consumers agree to be in vogue, and when these games come out, they fail. Co-op didn't help Fear 3 become the biggest name in entertainment, nor did its competitive multiplayer, because being a slave to focus testing is not going to lead to a good game that people actually want to buy. This can be observed with how many games include online multiplayer that nobody is actually playing. Codemasters stuck it in Overlord, for Christ's sake. You know how many people were playing Overlord online at launch? I do because I remember. 2, including me. 2 whole people. We saw this when Streets of Rage and Golden Axe first came to Xbox Live Arcade. So many people who said, oh, they better have online in these games, otherwise they can fuck off. Again, I think I managed to play one single online game of Golden Axe on XBLA at launch, and never again thereafter, because it simply sounded good to people to say they wanted Golden Axe online. It sounded correct. It wasn't, however, actually right. It's not what they wanted because no fuckers were playing it. And of course, there's the feeling focus groups aren't used to learn things, but simply skewed to back up what publishers already want to hear. Naughty Dog recently revealed researchers focus testing The Last of Us refused to include female players, and the developer had to force them to do it. Insomniac also revealed it was testing 12-year-old boys when developing Fuse, and Ken Levine was using frat boys. It seems that for all their talk of diversifying and broadening their appeal, game makers are just going after the same audience time and time again. Why? Because Call of Duty is being played by young boys, and this industry is so fucking blinkered, so fucking unimaginative, that that's all they can think to go after now. Like a priest with his pants down, the industry chases smooth young boys almost exclusively, and of course they're all gonna make the same uninspired game by chasing the same old demographic.
But when we focus tested our game, they said they liked Call of Duty. Why didn't our game sell just as many copies as Call of Duty?
Because your focus group already has Call of Duty, you dullard. They didn't actually want your shitty version of it. Douglas Rushkov is another guy who points out focus groups are problematic, with data being cherry-picked to support existing company ideas. He famously points out that the utter disaster of New Coke was down entirely to this kind of blinkered focus testing. Focus groups loved New Coke, just like Coca-Cola knew they would, and then they released a New Coke to the market, and the market spat it back in Coca-Cola's face, and Coca-Cola was humiliated, and New Coke is now remembered as one of the biggest marketing failures of our time. Has Electronic Arts or Ubisoft heard of New Coke, I wonder?
It's volatile.
Oh. Guess not. Bah-ha-ha-ha-ha, great episode. Thanks for joining me. So that was that. I'm feeling a lot better now, so hopefully we'll get another Jimquisition out soon because, well, the game industry never takes a sick day, not from being a total bollocks, and there's plenty to talk about. Microsoft's hand in the microtransactioning of the industry needs talking about, especially with Forza 7 coming out and all of its loot box bollocks. And then there's YouTube, which is just being YouTube, as well as a lot of other stuff that we've got coming up. Also, a lot of spandex turned up, so there's something to look forward to in the next few episodes. Until then, thank God for me, and I'll see you a little bit later this week, hopefully, with another Jimquisition for you, because I'm just that nice. Also, Patreon, I have a Patreon. YouTube can't stop me saying it.